course, the village guitar. And here's Horse with No Name, America's classic song. It's a good guitar song, isn't it? You know, you just want to be able to play this and you know, just be able to sing it and bash it out. So now there's some really easy versions around that only use 2 chords, and they're all right. And there's some really hard versions that go into all the alternate tunings and all the different guitars that are played, you know, by America. And that really is, you know, is hard because you're trying to do this on 1 guitar and they're doing it on 3, you know, so it is hard to do. So here's a version that uses 4 chords, so 4 really interesting chords that I think make it sound really nice. So it's got these two main chords in the verse. So first of all, just an E minor, so that's nice and easy. Second one is this D6 add 9 with an F sharp bass. So this is, you know, there's some unusual chords here, but then thank goodness this one's not hard to play. Just take that E minor and spread it apart. So you bring a finger up onto the 6th string 2nd fret, and the other finger take it down to the 3rd string 2nd fret. So that's all you're doing. Now I think it's good to use when you're playing E minor, use fingers 2 and 3. They seem to sit better over the neck. You're not getting, you know, dead strings that you might do with fingers 1 and 2 on the 1st string. So fingers 2 and 3 to make E minor, and then the D6 chord, just spread that apart to give it that 2nd chord in the song. So you probably want to just practice that first, just get that, you know, separating, bringing it back together again for each of those chords. Now, there's a 2-bar strumming pattern, and that's what makes it interesting as well. So it starts off with a strumming pattern we've used before, a bass down, down, up, down, up. So a very standard rock, country rock, folk, you know, strumming pattern. But what makes it a little bit different, it's got a shuffle rhythm. So instead of being straight like, it's got that. So sometimes it can be hard to get in that, but once you read it's easy. In fact, the other way around, it's hard to get out of it once you've done that. So you just want to, you know, have a listen to the song or listen to me playing it here to lock yourself into that pattern. So that. See that I'm playing a bass note and then I'm strumming, but I'm not trying to strum everything after that. I'm aiming for 3 or 4 strings, you know, high sounding strings down the bottom there, to give it that contrast between the bass and then the treble strings. That's the key to this style of playing, is to add that nice bass in as well as the rhythm in there. So that's the first chord in the strumming pattern. Now, as I say, it's a 2-bar strumming pattern. So when you move to this D6 chord, you're not putting in a bass note. You're just playing down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Notice it, there's 2 ups in a row. That's what, you know, makes it interesting, I guess. But it again can be tricky to do it. So stay on that chord and practice just this part of it. Down, up, down, up, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and then 4 and. And then when you've got that one going, then bring it back, bring the 2 together, bass first. Very slowly first off to get it locked in. Until you can, you know, bring that through. But the good thing is that's the entire verse, and it is the strumming pattern then for even the chorus. So it's good to work on that a bit to get that going. So they're just going backwards and forwards. You can see there on the chord sheet that I've, you know, found on the internet and tidied up a bit. But, you know, it's like on the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. So there, that's half the verse, and that it just keeps going like that. So it's nice and easy, you know, it's an easy guitar song, but you know, just giving it a lift now with these two interesting chords in the verse, and then into the chorus. We've got this E minor 9, and probably the best way is to think of it as a D chord. You know, if you can play D, then it's D, the first string 2nd fret with number 2 finger, the 2nd string 3rd fret with number 3 finger. So you've got the bottom of that D chord, even if you bring this first finger there ready, but then take it up to the 5th string 2nd fret. And there's a typical America chord. But think D chord and move your first finger up to the 5th string 2nd fret. Now the bass note, it's an E minor chord, so if you're playing the 6th string, your E chord, and that's the good thing is if you can get that bottom of the D on, you can start playing and worry about that first finger later on. So that's a bit of a trick, isn't it? You know, instead you just get D on, but then that finger ready to come up or bring it up, but start get that 6th string bass. Next chord is the D major 7 add 9 /A, and that's just over on number 3 string with your 2nd finger, 2nd fret, and then underneath it number 2 fret, number 3 finger, and strumming across 5 strings there. So that's the A bass, is the 5th string. So all these are kind of unusual chords, and you know, with long names. Now I've just purposely there in these chord diagrams, the first one, the D6 add 9, I put a plus sign there for add 9. So sometimes you'll see it written that way. Other times, like this second chord, D major 7 add 9, I put the word add. So you're just going to see them both. So I purposely put that there just to show, you know, what they might look like, you know, when you're searching out chords sometimes. So the chorus then is got that E minor 9 into the D major 7. Of course, the solo's tricky, that it is really played by 2 guitars. There's two you know, guitars going on there, the 12-string guitar and the just the 6-string guitar, and so you just leave that part out. You know, you can find that on the net somewhere, and you can you know, study that that solo, get it right. But here we're just trying to do the strumming part of the song. So the 2 bits again, E minor in the verse, into spread those fingers apart to the D6 add 9. And then into the chorus, the E minor 9. And there it is, a nice, easy song to play, but here just giving it a lift with these interesting, you know, nice sounding, very typically America chords that you know, just lift it just that little bit and make it sound nicer. So thanks for listening. Give that one a go, and I'll catch you next time around. Thanks.